Boot it up, don't crash today. Wi-Fi's moody, that's okay. Coffee's loading, brain still lagged. Luna's laughing, Techie's tagged. We're logging in with Luna and Techie. Tech talk's funny and slightly sketchy. Glitches, giggles, updates to an event's logging in. Brought to you, system ready, slightly unstable. You're logging in, 444, boredom not found. You're logging in, best show around.
Alright, we're live.
Yay.
Yay. Yeah, we're logging in. Guess we'll start off with honey.
No, with honey.
Okay.
Did you want to do a quick summary of the end of last week's talk?
Oh yeah, we probably should do that.
Because it is related and it's really interesting.
Yeah.
We don't have to spend a whole episode on it, but it's very relevant.
Why don't you go and mention it?
Well, basically, that whole there was a shooting at Brown, and they ended up solving it through Reddit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're talking about that anywhere else in the country, but it's kind of wild. It was really quiet for a few days, which again is the same thing that happened with the Boston Marathon years ago.
Yep.
And everybody was oh, they're not doing their job and whatever. And I mean, who knows? But it was really interesting because afterwards they kind of explained the whole sequence, and it sounds like Reddit solved it.
Yeah. So let's kind of dive a little bit deeper into that, because that's an interesting idea. I don't know, just tech news stories have been going so fast.
Yeah, give 1 or 2 minutes to it and then go into that.
But essentially the thing is that when the Boston bombing took place, Reddit was a hotbed of everybody trying to figure out who did it. And as a result, they ended up falsely accusing the wrong person.
You're talking about Brown or the Boston
No, the
Marathon?
Boston Marathon.
Okay, I didn't know that.
It's a very, people were...
Because that was back when, Reddit was pretty new, right?
Yes.
That it was just such a different time in technology.
Yeah.
That's what I find so interesting is comparing how that went down versus this, because it's just such a different world.
Well, the thing is, there was all these different things when it came to it, but it's the Boston Marathon, they ended up finding the wrong person. Mm-hmm. They ended up accusing the wrong person. So they were looking through all the footage and they found the wrong person. So as a result, people were having a situation in their head where they just didn't want to do another wrongly identification with this particular one. So as a result, if we look at articles from the BBC from April 23rd, 2013, they literally have a headline of Reddit forced to apologize for online Boston witch hunt.
That's interesting.
Right.
Well, I totally missed it at the time because I didn't really have very good access to technology back then.
But how would you have even known about Reddit?
No, I know, but I'm just saying, I really, my computer at that time was a hand-me-down thing that, took, an hour to start up and, So I didn't have very good internet, and I was working, 3 jobs and then night school and all this stuff, so, I feel like I just missed that entire time period.
No, that's why I want to kind of maybe talk about this honey stuff for the second half.
Yeah.
Because I'm realizing and this is where I think this show is brilliant, is that I'm realizing something that I just sit there and I think to myself, okay, this is just common knowledge and this is just easy to understand, is not as easy as I first thought.
The Reddit stuff?
Yeah, well, because it's I didn't even think about the idea that Reddit ended up solving the mystery of this Providence attack that took place with Brown.
Right.
It didn't even cross my mind.
Well, we've kind of been talking about it all week, how it's just really interesting how technology intersected with it.
Right. Well, I mean, as a couple, we've been talking about it, but I didn't even realize that we haven't included our internet audience.
Right.
Well,
we kind of just left the conversation where it ended off last week about our heads being foggy because of everything that was going on.
Right.
So we have to conclude that.
Well, I didn't even think about concluding it, but that's what's kind of interesting, is that this is forcing me to kind of sit there and understand it. But essentially, it's really funny just even reading the article about what happened in 2013, where they're going they're saying that. Yeah, you have your comment as well? Okay. So there was a subreddit, and first of all, do you know what a subreddit is?
No, I don't.
Okay. I'm just going to get you a formal definition of what a subreddit is, so that way I'm not going anywhere crazy. But essentially, it's a user-created forum that is a community that is on Reddit that is focused on a specific topic. So an example of a subreddit could be a subreddit on gaming, a subreddit on food.
But how's that compared to like a main Reddit or whatever you want to call it?
The main Reddit is the collection of all these subreddits.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Okay.
So you can search Reddit for these subreddits
Got
that
it.
are run by these community members. Okay, so anybody can make a subreddit.
That makes sense.
If we wanted to make a subreddit about even this show, we could make a subreddit so that way people could go and contribute things and stuff. I might have to now because I mentioned this, but essentially we could essentially do that if we wanted to, and then people could go and they could post in that particular subreddit on that topic. So, but anyway, there was a subreddit that was all about find the Boston Bombers. And so essentially Reddit had to apologize for fueling witch hunts, where essentially I guess the best way of putting it is that, and this was in their Reddit newsroom, so this was an official thing, but like Reddit, the company had to apologize, saying those started with noble intentions. Some of the activity on Reddit fueled online witch hunts and dangerous speculation, which spiraled into very negative consequences for innocent parties. Now, we think about all that. As a result, there were people being very hesitant when it came to this particular attack. So the fact that somebody happened to post something about what they personally observed, they didn't go to the police with it. They just were posting it on Reddit itself. And then it ended up spiraling into somebody else going in and reporting it to the police, and the police actively looking at it, and that solved the case, is a complete 180 from what was originally happening. So people are making jokes saying, well, in 2013, it's like, oh, don't do this, and in 2025, thank you guys, we couldn't do this without you.
Right.
Like, what type of message does that send now to the internet sleuth community that wants to be helpful, but caused this massive issue, and in a way messed up some innocent people's lives by going and causing news media to post the wrong people
I
in
also
newspapers?
I think though, again, this goes back to technology just being so different from what it was back then. Because I don't know what resources they were using to like put facts together back then, but like I think number one, probably a different generation running the police, you know,
Ooh,
right?
Didn't think of that.
No, but seriously, like it's just a different mindset, you know, different ways of doing things. And also now there's AI. I know we keep going back to AI, but like that was not available back then either.
Yeah.
So, you know, all these facts, and I'm sure they were using it somewhere in this investigation, right, to put facts together. Like that, I don't know, it changes how that information would play out.
Yeah.
Like, I would say, oh, maybe they're not so quick to, you know, just jump and accuse people, but I mean, they kind of did at first in this case, too.
Yeah.
But wasn't the person that they initially mistakenly accused, like, actually ended up being a witness or something?
Sometimes.
No, in this case.
Yeah.
Like, he was the guy they were looking for.
From I guess, I mean, I don't know enough about the case or whatever, but what's interesting, the person who posted on Reddit, yeah, they had to be talked to, because essentially what it sounds like is that they were observing some behavior that they thought was questionable, and even confronted the guy before he did anything, and was just like trying to figure out what was going on, because the guy kept circling around the campus and essentially would open the trunk and close the trunk,
Right.
and he was just basically like, what are you doing here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just and
the
so
other thing like we've been, you know, talking about together all week is like it's just so Providence, you know.
right.
Like it, you know, and I don't know how these things would play out somewhere else, but like I think of kind of just how people work there. Like, you know, I always joke that everybody in Rhode Island knows everybody.
But there was a lot of criticism of Rhode Island that they were not
Right.
doing a good job with
Which
their
also
police
is
then.
totally true.
The biggest mistake that, and I mean, this isn't a crime podcast, but whatever. The biggest mistake that this guy made was going to Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm. Right.
where there's resources.
Right. Resources, and again, I mean, like we went through it before, you know. I don't know how many people out there were there back in 2013, but
Right.
I don't know. I feel I wouldn't say the Brookline police is so amazing, but like
No.
you know,
No.
it's like more than one set of brains.
But that was the thing is, because what the Reddit guy was mentioning was just about the particular car that the guy was driving, and so they were able to go and pinpoint, like, wait a second, they saw the car, but the car had a different license plate.
Mm-hmm.
So when they did that, and then the fact that, I forget, did it end up in Connecticut or New Hampshire in a storage locker? New Hampshire in a storage locker.
Right.
And we've been experiencing storage lockers, so we know all about how the storage locker experience is like. All I can keep thinking about is just imagine that we're using our storage locker, and then this madness takes place while we're just trying to get our lives back together.
Right. Well, I don't know if that was an outdoor storage locker or like an indoor storage locker, or like, I mean, I just don't know anything about it.
I don't know enough.
Oh, can you give me a spoon, please? Go find a spoon.
I just don't know enough information.
Yeah, it's a very, like, you know, it's a private public place. I don't know. I don't know what other people's experience of that is. I mean, we were always like, you know, we were using one for this whole like moving process and this mess we've been in, and like, so we were always.
They don't even know about all that. That's
no, I know.
Time.
That's a whole other conversation. But you know, like being in there with kids, like we had to keep being in there with kids to get ourselves through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like what's ironic about this is that there is this YouTuber whose name is Brew. They've got 2.34 million subscribers. They came out with a YouTube video that says Reddit's hunt for the Boston Bombers, and it's got 2 million views. So the official title is The Hunt for Boston Bombers, Reddit's Most Destructive Mistake.
Mm-hmm.
They came out with that 6 months ago.
Mm.
Now, we are...
Why did it take so long?
Well, no. That was what came out. They just happened to create that. Mm. They created an entire YouTube video that was explaining how Reddit completely messed up when it came to that particular case. Mm-hmm. But now, they almost are going to need to re-update their video because Reddit now solved the bombing. Mm-hmm. In this case, the attack. Yeah. Where, again, it's like Reddit was trying to solve the bombing, but they failed. So, I don't even know what to tell you when it comes to all this and the obsession that Reddit had. It's like, what went so wrong last time might have been what you said, that the technology wasn't ready and they weren't prepared for the technology. Right.
But once again, it kind of went wrong at first this time, not with Reddit, but like, you know, people do what people do. Like, they're doing their best they can to like, to pinpoint these things.
Well, I'll tell you the common thread is that both of those things took place with New England.
Right.
So you've got a very intellectual group.
But we don't even know how these things work in other states.
Well, because the Reddit where that guy posted was in a Providence suburb.
No, I get it.
Which was for Providence, Rhode Island.
I'm just saying, I don't know how our experience of all this compares to how these things go in other states.
I don't know. I have no clue. But that's where it's just, I'm trying my best to go and figure out exactly what's happening here. Because, again, it's funny because I wasn't even going to go into this much detail. I completely forgot about this whole thing. But I think that shows you how fast technology is going.
Oh, I know.
So that, like, this moment in time where we spent a week ruminating on it, and then it's like, okay, now we're ready for the next story. Completely
too much information coming at you at all times. I've had a lot of moments in the last few weeks where I've, like... I've been in really weird time warps. I don't know if that's been happening to you. No, but really, like, I'll look at the clock and it'll be like 6 o'clock.
Yes.
And then I'm working on something. I look up again and it's like 10:30. I'm like, wait. Where did that time go? Like, yeah. I feel, I'm like, it's literally coming across in my brain like I messed up the clock or like it's that jarring. And it's very strange for me, like, being a person who's usually on top of that kind of thing.
You're usually really great at that.
No, I know, but I've just had, like, a handful of instances of that the last few weeks. It's very, very strange.
No, I
That
just,
hasn't happened to you?
Not in the way that it happens to you, I'll be honest.
No, it's been like time traveling. Like, it's been really weird. It happened to me like cooking. Like, I was like baking something and looking at the clock, and like it kept coming out raw, but I think it was like enough time was up. I even checked the oven. The oven was fine. I'm like, I don't know what just happened here.
Yeah.
I know that this is all a side thing, but like I seriously feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone right now.
All right, so let's go to the water cooler.
That's fine.
After the break, we'll talk about honey.
It's fine.
All right, tabs minimized, volume low. This is Cali Girl, and the water cooler has logged in. Let's use this break wisely, or at least convincingly. The U.S. Coast Guard seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela in international waters off the Caribbean, according to U.S. officials. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed the pre-dawn operation, saying the tanker was apprehended with support from the Department of Defense and had last docked in Venezuela. Noem said the seizure was part of ongoing efforts to stop the illicit movement of sanctioned oil used to fund narco-terrorism, adding bluntly, "We will find you and we will stop you." Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reinforced that message, referencing President Trump's announcement of a blockade targeting sanctioned oil tankers traveling to and from Venezuela. The move increased pressure on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's government, which rejected the threat and said the country would continue trading oil. This marked the second tanker seized in the Caribbean this month, though officials noted this vessel was not formally listed on U.S. or international sanctioned databases. And while ships were being seized at sea, criticism followed quickly on land. Senator Rand Paul publicly criticized the tanker seizures, calling them a provocation and a possible prelude to war. In an interview on This Week, Paul said he opposed confiscating vessels and questioned the administration's approach to suspected drug trafficking. He described the policy as inconsistent, arguing that some figures labeled as narco-terrorists were being targeted aggressively while others appeared to be treated more leniently. Paul also used the moment to outline what he described as a shift from traditional conservative principles, saying he intended to continue advocating for free markets, international trade, and lower taxes, even if that put him at odds with parts of his own party. And while lawmakers debated foreign policy abroad, a much closer-to-home issue is about to hit millions of wallets. Health insurance premiums were expected to more than double for roughly 22 million Americans beginning January 1st, 2026, after Congress failed to extend Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies. Those subsidies had significantly lowered monthly premiums, but without action, they were set to expire at the end of the year. California Representatives Ken Kiley and Sam Liccardo proposed a compromise called the Fix-It Act, aiming to extend the credits for 2 years while offsetting costs through insurance reforms. Instead, House leadership declined to bring the proposal to a vote before the holiday recess. Liccardo warned that without the subsidies, 2 to 3 million Americans could lose coverage entirely, particularly younger and healthier enrollees, a shift that could raise premiums for everyone left in the pool. He noted that the pressure was building on both parties and predicted that even if a short-term extension passed, the issue would likely stall again in the Senate. And from healthcare policy to headline politics, one familiar name made waves at a conservative conference. Nicki Minaj appeared at Turning Point USA America Fest in Phoenix, where she publicly expressed support for President Donald Trump. She told Erica Kirk, widow of Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk, on stage and spoke about resilience, public criticism, and shared roots with the president in Queens, New York. Minaj praised Trump for what she described as perseverance through adversity and said his leadership gave people hope. Her remarks marked a notable moment given that Minaj previously expressed mixed views about President Trump over the years. More recently, her social media posts had grown increasingly favorable toward him and critical of California Governor Gavin Newsom. And speaking of political legacies, one institution tied closely to history found itself at the center of controversy. Several members of the Kennedy family pushed back strongly after the Kennedy Center was renamed the Trump Kennedy Center by its board, whose members were appointed by President Trump. Former Congressman Joe Kennedy III questioned the legality of the decision, arguing that the center was established by federal law as a memorial to President John F. Kennedy and could not simply be renamed. Kerry Kennedy also criticized the move, saying it conflicted with the center's mission to support artistic expression and accused the administration of undermining those values. Other family members said they were stunned by the decision and concerned about its broader implications. And from history and institutions to the future, or at least what the future might look like if you got about $300,000. Production officially began in the Bay Area of what Aleph Aeronautics called the world's first consumer flying car. The Model A Ultralight was being hand-assembled in San Mateo and designed to function as both a road legal vehicle and a vertical takeoff aircraft. Aleph said the car was fully electric and capable of short flights when road travel wasn't practical. Only a small number of early customers, fewer than 10, are expected to receive the first vehicles following extensive testing and training. Deliveries were planned initially for California and Hong Kong, with safety cited as the company's top priority. And from futuristic transportation to a very present-day sports drama, Jake Paul appeared unfazed at a Miami event shortly after reports circulated that he may have suffered a broken jaw during his knockout loss to Anthony Joshua. Despite the injury, Paul responded to viral claims suggesting he earned as much as $92 million from the fight. While that figure remained unconfirmed, Paul acknowledged believing his jaw was broken after the bout. The reported purse numbers were based on speculation around the total fight payout, and officials had not confirmed exact earnings. I don't know, $92 million for a broken jaw? With today's technology, how that jaw can be repaired. I also read that they took out about 5 to 7 of his teeth. Was it 5 to 7? It was something like that. There were multiple teeth taken out. So with the replacement of teeth and replacement, or how can I say it? The jaw being repaired for $92 million? Maybe. I mean, he was already in that industry anyway. And finally, when trash talk crossed the sideline. Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf was involved in a sideline altercation with a Detroit Lions fan during their matchup. Broadcast footage showed Metcalf grabbing the fan's shirt and appearing to strike him after a tense exchange. The NFL said it was reviewing the incident, noting that similar situations have resulted in fines. The fan later told reporters that the exchange escalated after he used Metcalf's full name. No flag was thrown during the game, and Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin said he had not yet reviewed the footage. But the video is out there, so if you want to check it out, it's everywhere. And that's what floated up today. I'm Callie Girl. This is the Water Cooler. Now go back to work, or at least keep the screen facing forward.
All right, speaking of time warp, we're back. Break's over. Do you want finishing thoughts, or just move on to honey?
No, I think you can move on, because I mean, what I was talking about was not really a technology subject.
It was a very technology subject. They used Reddit.
What, time travel?
Oh,
That's different. Maybe that's technology somehow, but
yes, once they make the time machine.
Who says they haven't? Who knows?
Lenovo.
I don't know.
Tesla.
I'm just saying it has been very, very strange for me.
We're in a time warp.
I just don't know anymore.
I can't even, I don't even know where to begin with that type of thought process.
It's very strange.
All right, let's talk honey. Mm-hmm. All right, you probably know nothing about this.
No, I don't.
All right, there's an app, it's called Honey. Mm-hmm. The way that it works is that you go and you say, honey, I want discount codes for this product because this costs too much money and I want a discount. Mm-hmm. So you go on the site, you shop for whatever you're shopping, the discount codes pop up, and it's like, cool, I got a discount, yay, I saved money, and then you're happy. Mm-hmm. Okay, what's your thoughts on that so far?
Well, you've already talked to me about this week, so.
No, but I'm saying as far as you receiving a discount code randomly and saving money.
I mean,
start with
people are prone to use it because everything's so overpriced.
Cool. So,
I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Right.
It's kind of like we were talking about with like the Black Friday pricing, how it was like not really on sale technically. It was like what the prices are supposed to be.
Yeah.
What the prices were a few years ago. It's not like some major discount. It's just what they're supposed to be.
So now let's go and fast forward. Mm-hmm. Honey, as a company, gets sold to PayPal. Mm-hmm. So PayPal buys out this company for a ridiculous amount of money. And all these influencers are essentially going in there. I don't know if this was before the sale to PayPal or after the sale, but you've got all these influencers that are literally going and saying, hey, use Honey, use my code, this is amazing, etc., etc. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So now that's bringing a lot of traffic to Honey. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you've got all these codes that are being used. Now, this guy named Megalag came out with something that was all about what is going on behind the scenes with Honey, and came out with it around, like, I'd say it was a year ago. And he just came out with a new response that's happening. So what I need to explain is that in the first video, the influencer scam that was taking place is, let's say our show happens to get a Honey affiliate code, right? Mm-hmm. And we go and we say, hey, use logging in. When you go and sign up for Honey, blah, 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 we get our code. What Megalag was discovering is that if somebody used our code to download Honey, and then they went to some other site and thought, okay, cool, there's this code here. If Honey extension was on, Honey would override our discount code and replace it with their own Honey. Thus, they would get the affiliate money. Mm-hmm. Which means that as an influencer, we would not get paid. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now moving on, the next problem that he was basically revealing is that if you used other coupon code sites as well, that would get overrun. Mm-hmm. Okay. In addition, what was mentioned in this new one, and he just got served by PayPal mm-hmm. because of supposedly exposing code that he shouldn't be exposing. But that's a whole thing. It's a journalistic integrity. What he recognized is that there is over, I think he said 150,000, don't quote me, you can watch Megaleg and see it, but like businesses that are on there, of which maybe there's a good 120,000 that don't even know that they're on Honey. Which means that if you, as an employee of a business, happens to have a friend and family discount and you enter it in to buy something, and the Honey extension happens to also be on your computer, then Honey will capture that information and then spread that friend and family discount to people who are not supposed to be receiving that discount. Mm-hmm. So that means if a VIP person that shops at your particular business, typically you go and you give them an 80% off coupon code. But what ends up happening is that Honey learns what that code is. Honey will then share that 80% off with everybody else. Mm-hmm. So as a result, you're now selling all of your merchandise at 80% off instead of at maybe 10% off.
Right.
Or if, for example, you happen, yeah, if you happen to have an email, let's say, and with that email, you end up, because sometimes they'll go and they'll say, hey, go and join our newsletter, and when you join our newsletter, you're going to receive 10% off. Mm-hmm. But if Honey is taking those codes and just giving people 10% off and you're not signing up for the newsletter, well, then there's been no exchange between the business and the newsletter. Right. Does any of that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, your thoughts then on these type of, and various sites like Klarna and Honey and all these things, they're all getting sued. because of this, because they're getting sued from the influencer point of view, they're getting sued from the affiliate marketing, they're getting sued from all these different things, and the guy says he even has a third video that's coming out that's going to make this even worse than the two things I've already mentioned.
I mean, honestly, I just wish these companies would like stop inflating their prices. You know, like get it at the root.
No, I get it, but let's say, for example, you have an ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Okay? And essentially you're selling at $1 an ice cream, right? But for your employees, you provide them with free ice cream.
Yeah, I get it.
And now Honey knows that free ice cream code.
Right.
That it was only supposed to be for your employees.
No,
That was
I
for
get it.
internal use only.
Right.
Now, where's your help?
I think they need to, this needs to switch from like a code-based thing to something else. For stuff like that.
Well, what's happening is that the people in business are saying that they're having the result of needing to do one of two things. Either they have to follow what Honey says, which is they have to make a special code for each individual person, which is a lot of work and a lot of time, or they're doing what some might say is alleged extortion, where they're stating that Honey says, hey, if you want to remove your business from our site, you need to pay us money to join our Honey business program so that you can
Like
choose what
everything
codes
else
are
these
removed
days.
from our Honey site.
Everybody's doing that, which is also inappropriate.
Right.
What if they could like generate, like switch from codes to like QR codes or something? Some other system. I mean, I'm sure if that happens, it's just going to be the same problem again.
No,
you know?
but here again is the problem. You're going to a site like Shopify.
Yeah, I get
You're
it.
going, you're picking up a bunch of candles and stuff like that. If you're not making it easy for the customer to go in to use your code, forget it.
Right. I don't know. I just feel like, again, all this kind of goes back to like some kind of restructuring of the whole system. But the problem is like people always find some way to mess it up, you know? Like I don't think, I don't know what they could do, but.
No, but it's putting me in a weird situation because there's times or whatever where it's like, we need money off things.
Right.
Things are too expensive.
But that's what I'm saying. Like again, I feel like it should go back to like just prices being what they're actually supposed to be and not inflated.
But if prices are what they're supposed to be, then essentially, if they ever want to give a coupon code, there's no margin to give a coupon code off of.
Right. No,
That's the
I
problem.
get that. Right. But I mean, maybe it needs to move to like that kind of model. You know, except for times when they think there's going to be high volume. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's just surprising to me of all the businesses that don't even know they're on Honey.
Mm-hmm.
And Honey goes and claims, oh no, like, this is only for adults that opt in and stuff like that. But the smoking gun that Megalag was showing was a Mr. Beast video where Mr. Beast, literally advertising Honey, goes and says, hey, go onto your parents' computer, download it on your brother's computer, your sister's computer, your mom's computer, your dad's computer, and even uses like mom and dad emojis, which is just messed up. Which is basically... Yeah, and that's the other thing they mentioned in the latest video, is that somebody from, I think they were from the UK or something, they have the right of going and requesting all the data. And they said that there was a ridiculous amount of pages that was just about the last 3 weeks or whatever of them using with the Honey app on. But it went and it showed when they were looking up repair manuals, when they were doing every single action they were doing on the internet, which is then being fed back to people who are businesses that use Honey, who then try to figure out and spy on their competitors what's going on. It's maddening.
Yeah, the whole system's maddening. I don't know how you would solve it. Like, guys.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know how you would solve it all.
I mean, it goes into internet privacy and everything. It's just, I feel like, again, every time somebody tries to come up with solutions for these things, there's always some, you know, something that comes in and, like, squashes it or corrupts it or, like, you know?
Yeah. So it's overly confusing. And then, as a result, this guy ended up coming up with a Chrome extension, which is called Cookie Guard. And the way that works is if somebody like Honey tries to load something in the background, which is switching out your discount code that you have entered or whatever affiliate code, it actually lets you know that it's happening. And then, yeah, no, this is just a whole thing. So datarequest.org are also working on investigating it. And essentially, if you want to read more about it, you can read more how they're going and messing around. But I mean, looking at this, these are just showing you examples of page views. I'm showing you a screen right now where it's just tons of data. But if you know how to interpret said data, it just goes on and on and on and on of just what Honey is actually looking at. So there's a lot to understand. So it's like, yeah, that's cool that you're getting a discount code. I mean, I don't know what we're going to ethically do because I know we're technically hurting a business, but at the same time, if we don't have enough money to pay for the stuff in the first place, where is the line here? I don't know what to do on that.
But that's where, like I said, like prices need to stabilize. Like it's just a whole system. I don't know how anybody's gonna fix that.
Right.
You know, like wages need to be reasonable. Like costs need to be reasonable. It's just like a symptom of a bigger problem. You know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like this is just sort of like the part of it that hurts because people are using whatever they can to get by, and this happens to be one of those tools that they're using. But the problem is bigger than that, you know? That's not the root, that's the Band-Aid.
Yeah. I mean, again, like whenever any of these businesses contact Honey, all Honey goes and says is just like, oh, have better coupon management.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not responsible to remove from our system what they technically stole.
Yeah, that's part of it too, but like most businesses don't have the time or resources to keep after that.
So I feel like we're going in a vicious circle then, because it's like...
Yeah, we are. I mean, and ironically it goes back to like what we were initially talking about like Reddit and internet privacy and like, you know, you have to know like whatever you're doing online, like somebody could be looking at it.
Right.
Maybe not always nefariously, but like, you know, they're collecting data.
Yeah.
Somebody's collecting data.
Someone's always collecting data. That's the craziest part. Or sometimes, or whatever, they're adding in data that's inappropriate, that's not even your own data, but it's made to look like your data.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, thinking about this Honey extension, it opens up things in the background, tabs that you didn't even open.
Right.
And some people that have never even experienced Honey or whatever, it's just weird when you think about it.
Yeah.
So final verdict or whatever, we need to purchase something online. Do we search for coupon codes, or do we only use the coupon codes that are sent to us via email? What do you do?
I mean, personally, you know, I'm not as like teched out as you are, but I've played with some of these websites. I don't have this stuff installed on my device, you know what I mean?
No, I get it.
But like, I play with some of these websites where they like supposedly have a list of codes that supposedly work, and they never work. So I don't even usually bother a lot of the time.
No, I get them working.
No, I know you do, but you're you, right? I'm an average person.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, at this point, I don't usually have time because it never works, you know, to waste time on stuff like that. So I just end up using whatever they actually send me in my email.
Yeah, so then I guess that's pretty much the verdict or whatever, and it's just like,
Right.
because it's like
me.
you never think about like, oh cool, I got this coupon, it's hurting the business.
Right.
Technically.
I don't know. But again, that's why I'm just using pretty much what they send me.
Yeah, so I guess the ethical answer is just use what they send you, I guess.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think that's probably what most people are doing anyway, but I don't know.
No, most people are not.
Depends
Because
on
people... No, some of these businesses are losing 100,000 or more
I'm sure.
in revenue that they may not have even had otherwise.
Right.
I mean, who knows? Maybe these coupon codes are causing people to add more to the cart. I know sometimes it happens to us where we end up buying more than we expect to buy.
Right.
So I just don't know. But yeah, we'll have to investigate it further. That's the end of our time. Any words or?
I think so.
Alright, logging out.
With Luna and Techie. Tech Talk's funny and slightly sketchy. Glitches, giggles, updates too. It's logging in, brought to you. System ready, slightly unstable. You're logging in, 404, boredom not found. You're logging in, best show around. Boot it up, don't crash today. Wi-Fi's moody, that's okay. Coffee's loading, brain still lagged. Luna's laughing, Techie's tagged.